on fast cars.
Hello, ladies.
This is Women Take the Wheel.
Sit down, strap in, and turn on all you got.
Nikki Clark is taking you behind the scenes.
You're ready to win. Let me tell you, these cars, they get up and go pretty good.
Introducing you to women drivers, crew members, and fans of the racing world. Plus, Nikki is bringing you the latest racing news in Indiana and beyond.
We're going to bring it to you from the tower as they get ready to pull into the beams.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
All right, strap yourselves in.
Getting off the track and in your ears. This is Women Take the Wheel.
Come on, baby.
With your host,
Here we go.
Nikki Clark.
Hi, I'm Nikki Clark, your host for Women Take the Wheel, here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. And on this episode, I'm talking with Ashley Keller. She is a motorsports social media and public relations expert, and she has worked in every type of racing. Find out how her love for racing began in a small Indiana town with her oppa watching the Indy 500, and hear her advice for others who want to get into racing social media. Stay tuned.
Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved Wish TV app bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecast, radar, and Indiana sports all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved Wish TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere.
Okay, welcome to Women Take the Wheel. This is Nikki Clark, and today with me I have Ashley Keller, and she is the social media specialist partnerships at Carvana. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing swell, and you're with the Carvana with the IndyCar part, which is just getting started real quick here.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So I joined Carvana about 6 weeks ago. I'm coming over from drag racing back into the IndyCar world. To help support their social media endeavors with Jimmy Johnson and Chip Ganassi Racing with their new partnership heading into the season. So it's definitely going to be very exciting. We are already, earning NASCAR fans now over in IndyCar. A lot of our followers are following Jimmy and to the sport. And so it's really exciting to see that. And having the background with NASCAR too in my past is something that I think is going to certainly be beneficial for it. But yeah, it's great. I love working for Carvana. I'm, working now for a brand rather than a team. And in my career, I've been with teams primarily for the majority of it. So this is definitely new for me. This is different. And it's certainly a learning experience, too, that I've absolutely loved from every moment.
And when's the first race?
Next week.
So there's no stress. And she's not busy at all right now.
None at all.
So
no
I am
stress.
I know. So I totally appreciate you coming in and talking to me because I know you're a little stressed right now.
It's okay.
But
that's standard.
Yeah. And Ashley and I met surprise through drag racing. Mm-hmm. She's with Don Schumacher Racing and I was with another team. I think we met at PRI. You were at Bell Helmets with somebody. And my parents are next door, and I just saw your DSR. I'm like, oh, my God, your DSR. Oh, I can't wait to race with you next year.
Yeah. It was definitely a PRI. I think we were.
I think you were with your NASCAR buds.
Yeah, I could have been. Yeah, no, definitely, because Bell is certainly the NASCAR dirt side.
Okay, and so you're an Indiana native. You love racing. Tell me, when did you find your addiction? Because we're all us racing people, we get addicted. Mm-hmm. When did you know, oh my God, I love racing?
So I can certainly say that I am not from a racing family. My mom, bless her heart, did not know what probably a caution flag was. And sometimes she didn't, understand why I wanted to put myself through the schedule and the travel and all of the other stuff. But she knows that it's a passion and that it's something that, excites me. And I absolutely love what I do. So, I'm from Farmland, Indiana, which is just outside of Winchester, home of Winchester Speedway. And there's a half-mile high-banked track, asphalt track that's there. When I was 16, that was my first job. And I slung cheeseburgers in the concession stand, to be quite honest.
I was going to say, what'd you do there?
Yeah. And I also worked a little bit in the gift shop, but most of it was just slinging cheeseburgers. And I went from, the grandstand side to the pit concession. And that's where you got to watch a lot of racing. And it's back. A lot. Yeah. It was back when ARCA was there. Silver Crown was there. They were running at least 1 or 2 times a month, if not more. In addition to the Rich Vogler Classic was there. It's moving back actually this year, I think.
Very cool.
To the track. Yeah, they moved it to IRP for some time, or Lucas Oil Raceway, and then It's going back, I think, to Winchester Speedway this year. So it's a very historic high bank track. Lots and lots and lots of sprint car drivers and legends in the sport have raced there, have cut their teeth there, have wrecked there. So that's kind of where it all started. But in addition to that, I have a twin brother who, at the time, his first job was Muncie Dragway, just outside of Albany and farmland. And he worked the burnout box. So if it weren't weekends that I was working at Winchester, I'd finish up my homework Wednesday night and I'd go up and hang out with him for test and tune. And then that weekend, Friday night, if they're doing a special show or something like that, I just go and hang out and sit on the tailgate of the safety truck while he works. And there it is.
Cool.
Yeah. It turned into,
you got to start somewhere too.
Yeah. And it turned into, racing my car a couple times. I bought a number. It was like $25, get a bottle of shoe polish and you can go bracket race.
Nice. I've never done that.
It's actually, it's a lot of fun, but I would rather leave that to the professionals now. I get too nervous. But I'd rather report on it and post about it now and strategize social media content. But it was fun. It was very much a learning experience. I hope my brother had fun teaching me, but it was something that at some point, one night he was there. He said, you need to learn. Go get a number. It's time to learn. And we did. And we didn't tell Mom.
Oh,
we did not tell
she knows
Mom.
now.
She does. Yeah. Well, she found out eventually, but in all, she wanted us to, it's not when we weren't street racing. We were doing this on a safe, controlled environment. And I think that's
so important.
Yeah. That's the massively important part. We weren't out being irresponsible. We certainly were doing it in a controlled environment with safety crew there. So it could have been worse, but I hate to say that, but I didn't break my car. I never wrecked. I think one night I made it to semifinals and I think I red lit or something. It was bad, but it was still a lot of fun. And from there, that's just kind of the passion always stuck.
Right. And so then what did you go to school for? Did you go to school knowing you wanted a career in racing, or was it more of a, it'd be nice if I can get a job in racing type of thing?
No, I didn't. I certainly didn't set out after high school to go into racing. I actually always thought I was going to be a teacher.
Really?
I did. I have a strong passion for social studies, for culture, for history, still do. And honestly, a lot of it has turned into racing history, like a passion for that. A lot of people may not know that, but it's something, at least with me, but it's something that I absolutely love and love learning about and hearing about and that kind of thing. So I thought I was going to be a teacher. You get into your freshman, sophomore year in college, and then you decide that that's not going to be your major anymore. It wasn't, I didn't see myself being happy, but racing was still always there. So eventually I graduated with my associate's degree, started working full time. Life kind of started happening. And then eventually I decided that, it was around the time that social media was starting to kick up. Twitter was a thing. NASCAR was using Twitter quite a bit. And I thought to myself, I could do something like that. Like I like that. And I decided to go back to school while I was working full time. I finished up my bachelor's degree. It took 4 years to finish up 2.
Well, yeah, when you're doing a full-time job. Yeah.
But I worked full time. And then eventually I started cold calling and networking into the sport, which led me to meeting Tom and TJ Keene, who own Keene Parts. Keene Parts used to be a sponsor, or was for a very long time, of Go Fast Racing in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series back when they were Go Green Racing. And TJ, who I wholeheartedly feel, was kind of the person that helped start my career. She reached out to their team, said, we have this girl that wants to help and learn. She's going to school for this. Would you be interested? And so I went to, I think my first race was Michigan with the Cup race.
Wow.
Yeah. With Go, I think it was Go Green Racing then still. I'm pretty sure it was. And this was in 2012 or 2013, I think. So, I'm still, for, being a little bit older, I'm still somewhat new in this sport. I mean, this is, I think,
Honey,
full-time
I'm older
year
too.
5. I know.
And that's when I got started too. Actually, 2013 was also my first year doing like marketing, managing for motorsports. So we're in the same boat.
But the more you get into it, you learn more about that, about others. And that, to me, I truly feel that no racing journey is the same when you have two people side by side. Absolutely not.
No.
We've all seen similar things in the sport, but yet our career journeys differ and ebb and flow. Yeah, and ebb and flow. And then people get their, you could have people that have had, their parents raced, their family raced for years and years, and that's where the passion was. Or it could be somebody that comes into the sport later that just absolutely loved it, or you could have somebody that they landed this job when they graduated college and had never been to a race before. It's great because it's so diverse and it varies.
And I'm from a racing family, and I had the passion, but my parents didn't get me the job. They didn't want me to get into it. I was burnt out in TV, and my friend on Twitter. I found my job on Twitter, and they're like, "Hey, somebody know media and racing?" I do. So I'd love, that everybody's different backgrounds. And so you started there. Where was the next team you moved up to then?
So I actually interned with Go Fast Racing, Go Green Racing, for I think 3 summers. And that was while I was still finishing my bachelor's degree. Then from there, when I graduated, shortly before graduation, I was able to actually land an internship with AJ Foyt Racing.
Oh, very cool.
For my first Indy 500. And that was in 2016.
Wow. And now being an Indiana person, because I didn't know this till I moved here. I mean, the month of May in Indy in Indianapolis is huge.
It's a thing.
How was that?
It's
that experience.
It was a blur. And I will say I was still working full time. I had 18 vacation days. I needed 15. I went into my supervisor at that time and I said, I have this opportunity. Can I do it? And they said, well, you'd have to cash in your vacation time, but yeah, we'll give you the 3 weeks off. And I'm like, done. I didn't bat an eye at all because this is an opportunity to work the greatest spectacle in racing.
Yes.
And, part of my passion was curated and I think cultivated from my grandfather. And I call him my Opa because it's German for grandfather.
Oh, that's so
grandpa.
sweet.
We have German heritage in my family. And so my Opa, when racing kind of was a thing for me, or it started showing that when I was a teenager, he would tell me of stories when he used to work at Indianapolis and he used to hang out there. Gosh, he would shut his life down for May in the 60s and 70s. And so those stories always stuck with me.
Wow.
I'm going to try and not cry talking
You're
about
like,
it.
It's all good.
Because I still remember it very fondly with him. And, my first Indy 500 with Foyt, he was still with us. So, it was really cool to be able to, every May before I started working in racing, I would go to his place on Memorial Weekend and we would sit because obviously we're part of the blackout here in Indiana.
Yes, I learned that too.
Yep. You can't watch the race live. So we would sit at the kitchen table and listen to IndyCar radio every year.
Oh.
And so, you'd wake up race morning, you'd watch Monaco, you'd listen to the Indy 500. We would talk May all month long. And, and then come race day, we would watch that. And then we'd stick around and watch the Coke 600 in NASCAR. So it was a day. And I think that, for me, it was just that internship was, again, a blur but I learned so much. And I really think that foundation of how I worked in PR and also now in social media, that it really laid that foundation for my career and part of the success. And I do feel that I owe a lot of that to Ann Fernoro, who is still at AJ Foyt Racing and is with the team.
That is just great. Like, I'm a huge believer in internships. I'm like, you're not going to learn until you get in there and you get your hands dirty. There's stuff you're not going to learn in school. You're not going to learn about, working Indy 500 in the classroom. You got to be out there and you're going to learn it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so from there, that was the last summer that I was still working on my degree. I had strategized to finish up and graduate in December because, they do, in the industry, you do a lot of hiring in the fall and in the winter for next year.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was hoping that I could graduate with my bachelor's degree, and it is in business and marketing from IU, from Indiana University East, actually from the Richmond campus. And so I was trying to set myself up to where I could potentially look for an opening heading into the 2017 season. And I was able to land my first full-time job with Andretti Autosport, doing communications for their global rallycross program and then also Indy Lights. And then a lot of it too, I helped support their IndyCar program.
Wow. I mean, and like I said, I'm still learning about IndyCar. And I think I've even asked you questions before about IndyCar. So, yeah. And I got buddies that work at Andretti. I'm like, so how does this work again? So
yeah, it was great. And, I learned a lot there too. I still very much keep in touch with my supervisor and with my former supervisor there. And, it's a fantastic organization. And that May, that was when Takuma Sato won the Indy 500.
Oh, very cool.
So, you're a little bit green still. It was my first full-time year, very much a rookie stripe. And then, to go through the month of May, I mean, it's whether you're working, whether you're a fan or not, I mean, it's definitely a spectacle. It's for me, it's always a historic race. And I blame, again, a lot of that history appreciation on my grandfather. He was there, back when, Goodyear and Firestone were battling it out, and you had Mario running one and AJ running another. And you could tell the difference of what tire was on the track by the sound of it. So I still remember him telling me those stories. And I think that's where I have had that love and that appreciation for the month of May. It's not easy. It's great that we're home during that month, but it's a very long month. There are long days at the track, long practice sessions, lots of changes. It could go your way or not very quickly. But it's, to me, having that appreciation, it certainly made everything worth it.
Wow. Yeah, because that's when you talk about that being at home, it's nice because I don't know if people realize how much traveling goes on when you work with race teams. I mean, with the IndyCar, it's a little bit less. How many weeks a year do you travel for IndyCar?
I think this year they have 15 race weekends, and I think 17 events in total because there's a couple of double headers.
Yeah, and then
Belle Isle and Texas.
And then you have like NHRA, which you went to in
2019.
2019, you went to DSR. And 23 weekends a year we're traveling.
Yeah, or more if you're going to test sessions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you got the test, and then you got those, and it's just like people don't realize if you're committing to this, how much you have to travel. Pets are a no. Yeah, you're gonna, or you're like me, you spend all your money on boarding. But I'm sorry, I skipped a year in there. So then you went to Thor Motorsports, correct?
Thor Sport Racing up in Sandusky, Ohio. But in 2018, I actually made the move to NASCAR. And to go to the Truck Series with Thor Sport Racing. Part of that was a move to Sandusky, Ohio. At the time, I think between Furniture Row and Thor Sport Racing, they were the only two teams located outside of Charlotte within NASCAR.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, and I think right now, because the team in Denver is no longer around, that I think Thor Sport Racing is the only one that's located outside of Charlotte in the top 3 tiers.
Wow.
Yeah. So for us, it was, we didn't have the luxury of the charter flights and things that, that those in Charlotte did have. So, and also too, to get equipment that comes out of Charlotte, it did require, trips from our team from Sandusky to Charlotte. So, to get sheet metal or anything that they would need. But, I thoroughly enjoyed living up there. The lake was great. But I was there for, I think, 23 events as well for that season. And then the opportunity with DSR came up. And for me, that was a step up from the Truck Series, which is kind of like the third tier down in NASCAR. So with Cup, if you look at it as if it's like a Major League Baseball, the Xfinity Series is then minor league. And then from there, you go down to the Truck Series. So, it's a step up.
Great explanation. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of like, if you think about it in minor league terms.
Yes.
And it's also kind of like where if you're racing in the Truck Series, your goal is to eventually move up to the Cup Series. Like, you're developing yourself to move up to Xfinity, to move up to Cup. And so, for me, the opportunity came up with DSR. For one, that was for me to move back home, to be around my family here in Indy. And my family is still very much in farmland and in the Muncie area. And it was an opportunity for me to come home, but then also to move up to an organization that, they're the winningest team in drag racing history. Yes. So, they are a powerhouse. And so for me, that was the equivalent of a Cup Series of moving up in the sport.
Yeah. And that's where I met you, is Don Schumacher Racing. And I want you to tell people what you did, because you did so much at DSR. I mean, because people are like, oh, I want to be PR. That's a lot of work, y'all. And Ashley was there. I mean, you get covered in dirt. I mean, us at the end of the day, if you're not, you've been inhaling nitro fumes, you have tires, we call them Firestone freckles, even though they're Goodyears on our face. So tell people what you did for when you do your job.
So at DSR, I was also a social media specialist. There, I would help develop content, the strategy behind social media, and help further, partner messaging through our drivers and through DSR when it came to sponsorships and that kind of thing too. So a lot of it was just running and managing the social media for the team, but then also I was on the line for each car providing content for the drivers, because obviously they can't, record
Yeah.
their
That'd be
themselves,
bad.
themselves while they're in the driver's seat. So a lot of it was curating that and creating that content, whether it's photo, whether it's video, whether it's anything from the track that we can put out to showcase what's going on at the track. My goal was certainly in drag racing, you certainly can't recreate the smell. You can't recreate the hit, especially the hit, because it's strong if you're not ready for it, even on the line. And so we can't obviously give that to somebody through social media, but at the same time, we can do our best to showcase what it feels like. I mean, I have slow-mo video on my phone of that hit, and you can just see the vibration in the frame rate of the video because it's just so powerful. And so, that was my goal, was certainly to put that out there for our fans, for our followers, to, I guess.
Well, and this is the thing too. It's like
to help them feel or see what may or may not be covered on, on the broadcast, and showcase behind the scenes, the crew guys working, the men and women behind the sport that help make this happen.
And when you say teams, I want people to understand too, it's not just like one or two. How many cars and drivers did you have that year?
I have to think about this.
I want to say you had, was it 6?
On a normal weekend, it was, we had 4 funny car, 2 top fuel.
Yeah, okay.
So there's 6. And then 2 factory stock. So we could have, at any given time, we would have 6 nitro cars. And if factory stock was running, we would have 2 additional factory stock cars. And then we also had 2 additional part-time entries in 2020. So on any given weekend, I worked with anywhere from 6 to 8 to 10 cars. I think we had 10 cars at U.S. Nationals last year.
See, this is what I get across, people. She works her tail off. She hustles. That's why we're friends. Is she's a hustler when it comes to and you're up at the line, you're getting video, you're getting pictures. It's not just like going up and setting your camera down. It's like getting in there, getting gritty, getting dirty.
Speaking of that, I have a photo from when I went to In-N-Out leaving the track one night in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't even dawn on me that I'm dirty and gross. And I'm telling you, that rubber will get pretty much from the tires in any crevice, nook, and cranny. I mean, I think they call them clutch dust boogers or something, but it's the same way. Like Ron always used to joke about that, but like black boogers and stuff like coming out your nose. But I mean, it's the same with rubber. I found Goodyear behind my ear, I think on a Tuesday, getting ready for work one morning.
I had my hair one time. I was wearing a hat and a ponytail, and I was on the line most of the day, and I took out my ponytail and brushed and looked in the mirror. It looked like the bottom of my hair was pretty much dyed black.
Yeah. So I walked into In-N-Out, ordered my dinner, which was I think 10 o'clock at night, which is also normal in racing a lot of times because you have very long track days.
Rain delays.
Yeah, there's nothing that tastes better, in my opinion, at 10 o'clock after a track day than In-N-Out.
Oh, hell no. I'm with you.
So anyway, that I walked in and they looked at me, I think like I had 4 heads. And I couldn't figure out. I'm just like, that's a little weird. And I just went, ordered my food, sat down, whatever. And I looked in my phone and my screen was off and I could see the reflection. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I walked in here with my face covered in tire rubber. And that would explain it. But it was a comical moment, and I made sure I took a picture to remember that, because honestly, I think that was probably one of the times where I think my face was the worst. But a lot of it depends upon the humidity of the track. A lot of it depends on the wind. If the wind is just right, you're not going to escape it. No matter how hard you try.
And I remember I think one of the first races my brother brought his girlfriend to, and we were like, hey, we're going to dinner. She's like, well, I got to clean up. We're like, no, you don't. She's like, I got this all over me. I'm like, yeah, so do we. Who cares? We're going.
It's almost like it's a badge of honor, to be honest. It's a rite of passage. Like it's something that's kind of expected.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you'd roll home with your crew guys and go to dinner or something like that. Sometimes we'd have time to clean up. Sometimes we were hungry and we wanted food yesterday. So, you just roll in as you were,
Yep, and that's what you care. And then people are like, oh, were you at the races? Gee, how can you tell?
Yeah, big fan.
So, like I said, I love the fact you've been in all types of racing. So, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there a favorite you have?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, maybe I won't go that far. Okay, baby. Favorite track?
Hands down, it will always be Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yay.
I can't not choose IMS just because to me that is the home track. Not only that, but it is such a legendary facility. I mean, it's survived, years and years and years and a century of racing. So it's where legends, like AJ Foyt, Mario Andretti, and of all, still and have cut their teeth, with the drivers that they have in the IndyCar series. I mean, it's still such a special place. And for me too, it's home. I still get chills going under the tunnel, and I've been there countless times, now for racing. And I don't even know if I could put a number on that with how many times I've been to IMS, whether to work or even to just go to the museum. And, for me, it will always be home. But I think probably I'd have to think about it for a minute. But outside of Indianapolis, my favorite track that I think I've been to,
For me, it's Bristol and Charlotte. Those are I love those racetracks. And Bristol, I just love down in Bristol.
It's hard for me to pick because the Bristol area is gorgeous.
Absolutely.
The Tri-Cities area, right in the nestled in the Appalachians or nearby, is just phenomenal. But I also loved Watkins Glen. Up in New York.
I've heard. Yes, I've heard that was beautiful.
Absolutely
Never
beautiful.
been there.
And on top of that, too, Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin is gorgeous. They have a lake that's outside the track. You have the little town that's nearby, Elkhart Lake. And they are historic tracks too, and historic towns. They used to run, the road courses back in the day through the town. I'm pretty sure I'd have to double check that, but they have historical markers throughout the town that talk about that. And if you just take a moment and walk around the towns, I mean, you can learn so much about these places that are around these tracks and kind of the community that's the heart of supporting this track with a series that comes in. So, I love those two as well. I kind of fell in love with Bandimere last year. I'm sorry, not last year, the year before. 2020 was a blur.
Oh my gosh.
2019, because it's gorgeous. I mean,
absolutely. It's in the side of a mountain. If you've never been there, it's the side of a mountain. It's huge. And the altitude and the racing is hands up in the air because it's the altitude. It's so crazy.
Yeah. It's outside of Denver, Colorado, near Golden. And Golden's neat because you've got the brewery there. The town's gorgeous. It's cute. And so you're nestled right in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, and it's just beautiful scenery for one. And then, yes, the altitude hurts a lot. It's very hard to race there, in my opinion, just as a PR or social media rep, because just walking 10 feet, you're winded. And for me, it was tough to adjust to the altitude. I don't know. But on top of that, the racing is a crapshoot because it's one race. Any of the data that you use for that does not translate to any race on the circuit. So, you're not testing there. You're just hoping that
cross your fingers.
Yeah. You're hoping what setup you bring is going to work for you. I mean, you can go off of historical data. You can go it off of works, previously, but if weather changes or humidity is different, there's not really, a track you can compare data to that's on the circuit.
And one of my favorite things about Bandimere too is it's the only place where you have a hill going down to the lanes. And so I just love, I'd sit up there and you could look at the media center and you see the guys, because the drivers are strapped in the car and usually you have to tow a race car to the line. But with that, the crew just lets go and the drivers kind of coast down the hill. And I'm like, I know they are racing down the hill.
And those stairs that will go from the pits to the staging lanes.
Oh my Lord.
They'll whip you in shape pretty quick.
All I'm going to say is 2016, I had Summit. So I had the pro stock pits were at the finish line. So I had Jason Lyon and Greg Anderson down there. And Timmy was at the starting line up in that little nook and cranny where they keep them at Colettas. Yeah, that far apart. And I did that how many times that weekend? I couldn't even use my bike because it's so crowded.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
I can't even remember how many steps I got in that weekend.
Yeah. And I would say outside of those two, I mean, Norwalk for me is kind of, since I lived in Sandusky for the time that I did, Norwalk to me is kind of, I consider it like a second home. So when I went back to Sandusky in 2019, joining DSR to go to Norwalk, I mean, the team would stay in Sandusky. So for me, I lived near Sandusky and Vermilion, which is actually ironically where my dad was when I was a teenager. He lived there and commuted out of Cleveland. My father was a pilot, so a commercial pilot, and he was based in Cleveland at the time. So when I went back when I started living in Sandusky, and even when I went to Norwalk, Going to Vermilion, it's the same thing. It's a small town that's on the lake that, the bait shop is next to the Blue Bridge, that's next to the diner that's on the river that goes out to the lake.
Yeah. And
honestly, it's so gorgeous up there. There is very much more than just Cedar Point and Sandusky, I promise you. There's a great racetrack just south of there.
Oh my God, the lake is just
Norwalk.
beautiful.
And the lake is great. The islands are great. If you ever go up to Marblehead or Catawba, there's some great restaurants, great lakeside bars and places to eat. And, so for me, Norwalk is kind of like a second home. I know that place like the back of my hand because I live there. So, I'm not from there, but to me, I consider that a home track, and Norwalk is always fun.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask you, I ask everybody, what is your advice? So if there's some girl listening out there who's like, she wants to get into motorsports, no matter what, the position, what advice would you give her?
Gosh, I mean, there's so many things that so many tips that I could spill out. I think one of the biggest too is just learn how to adapt. And that's kind of been the biggest thing for my career that I've had so far. I mean, I went from, when I very, very first started, I worked with a sprint car driver who I still consider one of my closest friends now, out of Pennsylvania, and did some stuff, from here. But I've been in dirt. I've worked in, IndyCar, NASCAR, all 3 series there, Indy Lights, GRC, NHRA, ARCA.
You have done it all.
I'm sure I'm missing something. But, through all of that, I've had to learn and adapt. And I think the 2 biggest key takeaways there is that, always keep learning. Because especially in social media, things change every day, if not every hour. And then if not, Facebook will change the algorithm every 6 months and you'll tear your hair out.
Don't get me started on that. Do not get me started on that.
Yeah. So just when you learn the algorithm and what's working for your content, they're going to turn around and change it. So adaptation is key. And then also learning. I'm very much a continual learner. You can learn from people, you can learn from places, and you can learn from things and situations. And certainly I think that that's how I've been able to gain the experience and to be able to kind of pivot as I've needed. Within my career. I mean, certainly before I started in drag racing, I didn't know anything outside of watching what I saw on the broadcast, which, Brian Loans and Tony Pedregon do a great job, and NHRA does a great job educating their fans. I think that that's fantastic, especially because at times it's different. It's new for new fans. And so you want to make sure that you can help understand and learn that, because for me, I'm able to communicate that through social media to any potential fans that are there or new fans that we have as well to help build the sport. So, adaptation is key, learning how to pivot, and then also continually learning, just learning in general.
Okay. And I have one quick question. I'll probably put this in earlier.
Okay.
Do you remember your first time standing in a starting line between 2 Top Fuel cars? Do you remember your first Top Fuel experience? And please describe it. I had been to U.S. Nationals for a qualifying day or something like that, just as a casual fan before blowing off work or, taking a vacation day and going out because NHRA's in town. Yeah.
And so my first moment, I think, standing on the start line, it was Pomona 2018. And I was there for my very first weekend, just kind of absorbing and learning. And it is something that I don't know that you can accurately or at all really describe. I think if I walked to a start line right now with 2 Top Fuel cars, I would jump out of my skin. And I haven't been between cars like that since I think November of last year. Mm-hmm. Whenever our last race was last year. So, I still at this time, if I were looking at my phone and not at the lights, it would scare me.
Oh yeah. I've been behind a car at the double whack and I forget it. And you can see my camera go whoop.
Yes. Yeah. So honestly, it's loud, it's smelly, it's dirty. And it's honestly one of the funnest things that I think you could ever experience, hands down.
Very cool. Very cool. And now we want people to follow you on social media, everything. We want to get some followers for your guy. So tell us where people can follow your guy.
So basically, so Carvana Racing can be found at Carvana Racing on all platforms. And then my handle on Twitter is just at AshleyK199.
Yay, because I want everybody to go out and follow your guy, Jimmy. It's his first year in IndyCar, making the transition from NASCAR. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited for you, and thank you for taking the time because I know this week is crazy busy for you.
Thank you. I
The
appreciate
first is
it.
going up, yes. And so thanks again, Ashley. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thank you again for listening. I'm Nikki Clark, and this is Women Take the Wheel. Be sure to connect and follow on Facebook when you search for Women Take the Wheel podcast. And be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast now on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network,
This is Women Take the Wheel.
with Nikki Clark. Follow and subscribe to this podcast now and discover even more great podcasts on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Online at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
AllIndianaPodcastNetwork.com.